My name is Audi Megori, co-founder, ChocCity Group.
My name is Paul Okugo, co-founder, ChocCity Group.
ChocCity, the brand, started while I was in Jos. Like I said, we were in Jos together. And we had created something, was like a rave. So ChocCity then was a rave where we'd go to different clubs, we'd rent different venues and do a show.
This is hashtag 50 African Stories. 24 stories discovered, 26 to go. Prepare to be inspired.
It's time to talk.
Going into starting off, I remember the first artist that we signed. I recall when I went to Lagos, Jeremiah Gang, and I went to Lagos and I was playing it. All the guys I had were like, are you sure this is going to work? Like, nobody was really sure. We created something called the Guild of Artists and Poets, and this was in 2001. And we co-founded it together. And the idea then was to create a place where young people in Abuja could meet and exchange their ideas and read poetry and dance and just things around the creative sector at the time. And I would say that it was the earlier physical Facebook of creativity, because people could, then we now had a Yahoo groups on online. And I think it was that interface that showed us raw talent and the potential. The Gap was a test, was the MVP of ChocCity, because then we are now interfacing with so much talent and realizing what the pool looks
The potential,
like. And the potential, so. Through Gap, we met 6 Foot Plus. 6 Foot Plus was a Gap member, and he was sharing his art with us. And he soon became a close friend of ours. But one day he was in my house, hanging out, playing music, and then he played a song called Nabata. And I was like, who's this guy? Incidentally, he had heard it. Actually, everyone had heard the song, but they didn't know who he was. That kind of thing. Well, I was hearing the song for the first time. I bought the album. I never heard an album like that in my life. I said, Jesus Christ, this guy is. But the reason why Gap was important is that when we started Gap, we co-founded Gap. The first meeting was 7 people. So literally we started like that, and then in a few months it had become 40 people every Sunday in Abuja meeting, then 50 people. And then it became so big that we had to begin to manage it. And then 2 years later, he was moved. At that time, he worked a bit. He was now moved to Jos. So as you're going, he said, go and open Gap. So he went to Jos and opened Gap. Who are the first guys in Gap? Jesse, High Springs, all those guys.
In fact, the artists we met through Gap, almost all the artists we met came through Gap.
Then Jeremiah and MI used to be Jeremiah Gang's PA, although they were friends. And both their parents were pastors.
I remember the first MI song I heard was War. I remember War.
Yeah.
And when I heard the song, I had to restrain myself. I was like, oh my God, this kid is great. And then I think same thing happened with Jesse. When I heard the song, I called you as well. For Ice Miss, you called me. So that whole A&R process was, I think maybe we were fortunate that it all came in a nice little bow, through Gap. Because after that, we now had a system that does, we have a system that does A&R. We have some very smart A&R guys today, and when IB joined and Abuchi joined. So we had a lot of people who came into the system who now did the A&R work. Growing up in Jos myself, and seeing what happens when talent does not meet opportunity, because talent is everywhere in Nigeria. Unfortunately, most of that talent will be unrealized because we don't have the system to actually nurture and make it into something. So being part of a team, a partnership that actually has provided opportunities for young people to actually, be successful and make money, and we have some of them are going to be much better than we are.
When the label started, nobody in their right mind was going to give us 10,000 naira even. Nobody was going to. There's no place you could go to. This 2005. So think about what Nigeria was in 2005. You're a musician, you're not a serious guy. At best, you're an amusement, not even entertainment. And I recall that in those initial days, we would talk with different. So we said, you know what, let's use our resources and get things done. Paul happened to be in a space where he was running promotions for the biggest brand, and that gave a lot of access to things. I had spent some time Understanding music, because I'm an A&R as well. I grew up in a musical family, like I said, bereft of talent myself, but understanding what talent was. We struggled with getting money. That's the truth. And we had to put money, our small coins together, and then hope that somebody pays us.
I remember, we walked into 1 or 2 banks and tried to say, can you give us some money to do this? And they would say, look, we'll give you money, but go and bring land. Or,
yes, worth 5 billion
and bring a house. And I'm like, look, if I had land to sell, I would not be here in the first place. So it was almost impossible for us to get any financial support. That experience can be quite difficult for startups. I think Nigeria has that mix of sort of like cultural and, support is very hard to get. I mean, of course, your parents didn't send you to school to be an artist, or everybody wants you to be a lawyer, doctor. So from that point of view, nobody is really saying let's support people who have a creative dream. But it's much more different now. People don't know how lucky we are now that Nigeria now has a Ministry of Creative Industry. Like it's for me, like when I think about it, it's crazy.
Yeah. Like
before, like nobody wanted to hear about all this stuff. And there are people who will tell you, people who started comedy in Nigeria now and are making millions of dollars every year from doing comedy shows. Amazing. People who are doing gaming now, people who are doing, like, the creative landscape of Nigeria has changed so much. And that's what, the thing is, a lot of people don't know that that's what we were banking on. When our friends told us, you guys go and get proper jobs, we were actually banking on the time where these catalogs will be valuable, that this IP will be valuable. And so, as Aldo said, it doesn't make sense today. We need to accelerate because we are already behind, right? We're so behind if you compare us to markets in the West, even markets that in SA, like we're so behind in terms of churning out talented individuals to make revenue for the country with their talent. When it comes to creative, like that, we are a little bit behind.
ChocCity now is a 4 vertical company. We have a agency, we have a publishing company, we have a record label, we have a movie production arm, and now we also launched an investment arm which basically invests in third parties.
We are African, and this is our story.